Hey y'all, I'm putting together a video to describe how to use this dropper loop board that I built and posted the instructions for. I got some comments that it wasn't intuitive exactly on how to use it. I think I made the assumption that folks were already familiar with these boards when in fact they're not. This isn't a novel concept. I didn't make this board up. I only made up the concept of using these T's and fixed links to spread to make a uniform dropper loop every time. And a lot of the boards you'll see will have fixed nails in the board, and that's how my old one was. What I've done is measured the board out in such a way where each symbol on the hole corresponds to a different dropper loop size. So depending on what dropper loop size you want, you pick the right symbols. So I want to make a 4-inch dropper loop with 10 inches of line in between each loop. And to do that, I just need to pick all the holes that have an X on them and put a T in. So I'll do that right now. And this, on the right side, we put the one with the grommets on it. That way it can hold the line. So I put that one in. So the remaining T's are used for the points on the board that always have a T in them, regardless of loop size. So there's one that goes through the line. This is a monofilament. You push that in. And then there's 2 fixed points on each side. So one here and one here. All these are used for is just to make sure that, they're constant points that we can make sure that we know the measurement for the fixed sizes. All that's explained in the blog post. So at this point, it becomes pretty easy. Some people just choose to tie multiple dropper loops in a big chain and then, tie the terminal tackle when it's time. What I do is I tie them individually. So what I do first is I tie a figure-8 knot, and this is just the tag end that I would use for holding my pyramid sinker. Tie that knot. Okay, so now we have a figure-8 knot, and now we can tie the first dropper loop. So what you need to do is you're going to go pull it off the spool around these 6 points, and then when you get to the center triangle, you're going to go around the triangle. And then you're going to come all the way on the other side and hook it right here to these 2 grommets. So as I do that, if you watch, I go around the triangle, and then fix it between those 2 grommets. So what this does, you have single line here, but right here in the middle of the triangle, there's 2 lines now crossing each other, and this is where you would make your dropper loop. All you're going to do is twist these together 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and keep that opening between the lines, and take the top line off take the line off the top of the triangle, and you're going to push it through the center of those 2 lines that you just twisted together, and then just hook it back here because you're going to use this T for leverage as you pull the dropper loop out. So if you watch, it kind of magically creates this dropper loop right in the middle. So now you have a fixed size dropper loop that is 10 inches from the figure-8 loop. So I like to run 2 droppers. You can run 1, you can run 3, you can do whatever you want, but to tie the second loop, just tighten your line back up and grab by the actual knot of the dropper and do the same thing. Just come around, do the triangle, and hook it here. So now you have your 2 lines, twist them together 6 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pull it off the top of the triangle, push it through, hook it back for leverage, and pull down. So now you have another dropper loop. And again, what's really cool is they're always the same distance apart. So the way I measured the board out, if you have like a 5-inch loop for some reason, you're going to have 12 inches of line. That way your hooks don't hook together. So to cut that, so I do 2 dropper loops on my leaders. So what I do at this point is I'm going to cut it. So to get the right distance to cut, I just grab again by the second dropper loop knot, and rather than going around the triangle, I just come all the way to the grommets and then cut at the far T. So you can tie a swivel on here. I actually just use a perfection loop, but you can do whatever you want at this point, because this is just the other end of the leader. So there's a perfection loop. So now what we have is, I just tied this perfection loop. You come down, you have a dropper loop. Come down again, you have a dropper loop. Then come down again, and you have a figure 8 to hold your sinker. So it's pretty easy. Once you get proficient, you can crank these things out and just have a whole bunch of leaders that are clear, don't have a lot of metal on them, that work great in the surf, for especially pompano. This is monofilament that I used. I actually have a shorter tee that I can hook the smaller spools of fluorocarbon, and I use those a lot because it's a little bit clearer than the mono. Hope that explains how to use it.